Shalom, Israel, Shalom, man. First and foremost, we give a call, halal, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Mashiach, Wamalak, Yahushai. Y'all already know Yahweh is the name of the Father, which everybody ignorantly calls God. Yahushai being the name of his only begotten Son, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus the Christ. Right? So with that being said, I'm your brother, King Ecclesiastes, coming at you with another article. Right? I like to bring out these articles, and Abaratazar, most high willing, I can build up the channel so I can start actually being able to get on the live podcast and start sharing more content, with Israel, within the body, and start bringing out a lot more Northern Kingdom information for the body and for everybody to be edified. I got a lot of good praises for the last video. It was an article, based upon, the tribe of Ephraim, and not just the tribe of Ephraim, but, the Northern Kingdom, the natives and stuff like that, and some of the ethnographics and some of the geographical locations, archaeology, biblical prophecy. And that's how we prove things, man. Here a little, there a little, you know what I'm saying? Through the scriptures, we get the understanding. So, I want to continue, to bring out these little edifying videos, and you could always type these things up and look these articles up. Israel, you could just type it up, and if you feel any type of discretion, hit the comment section below. Hit me up. I'm always reading the comments and stuff like that. Trying to stay updated on things and being able to edify and just just being able to interact with the body of Israel. So without further ado, we're out here in the Feast of Unleavened Bread still. I pray everybody's continue to endure. Still just, building yourself up and continuing to stay steadily on fire. Studying, so on and so forth, Israel, study to show thyself approved, and we in the last days, man. We in Babylon, spirits is hopping on brothers and sisters and things of that nature, so we need to be aware of these things. We need to be circumspect, we need to be aware. What I like to try to always preach to myself and praise myself on is trying to be blameless. Try to be blameless as much as possible. We live in Babylon. We're under the oppression and we still living in this world, but you got to continuously fight to set yourself apart from this world, because we are not of this world. This is not the land of our rest, and without any further ado, man, let's read this article, man. Let's read this thing together, as I like to do, and it reads, this is based on the first birth control. Oh, and this was an article written in March 11, 2019, right? I guess it was updated. It says the first birth control pill used Puerto Rican women as guinea pigs, right? So here we go. We're talking about Ephraim. And we're going to get into that. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to bring out a few scriptures as usual, and we're going to edify the world. We're going to edify Israel, anybody who wants to be edified. It says through eugenics and unethical clinical trials are part of the pill's legacy. I'm assuming this is written by Aaron Blakemore, right? And it reads, it came in a brown bottle, marketed as a safe way for married women to treat menstrual disorders, right? But the contents of that little brown bottle were as potent as a bomb. Inside was Enovid, the world's first birth control pill. So if the first thing that you see here on this article, it tells you right away that women that were taking these pills were misled to believe that it was to treat menstrual disorders. All right. Continuing on. It says, so, and there's nothing new under the sun, Israel. So there goes that crafty counsel, right? But everything is of the Lord. And we're going to read that in through the scriptures. We're going to read exactly what just happened right there. Remember that. It says, soon Enovid would usher in a new era of sexual anatomy for women. It was marketed as a safe, clinically tested way to take control of reproductive health. But Few women who took it then or since realized how complicated its birth really was. The pill had a bright future, quote unquote, but its past, one intertwined with eugenics and colonialism. Colonialism. Understand that. Read that word there. Colonialism. Right? Christopher Columbus. Colonialism. Cristobal Colon. Right? Was fraught. Its clinical trials took place not in the mainland United States, but in Puerto Rico. In Puerto Rico, this is where they took it to run their trials and tests on, right? Understand where we're going with this. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to pull out some scriptures. And we're going to, show you exactly what this is going into, right? It says, but in Puerto Rico, where poor women were given a strong formulation of the drug without being told they were taking part in a trial or about any of the risks they'd face. So these women did not have no idea what they was getting themselves into. They didn't even know that the pill was never tested before. See what I'm saying? So there goes that crafty counsel and Esau being wicked as hell, man. We're gonna see who's behind it, because this same person is behind the same people, is behind the same buildings that's killing our brothers and sisters today. Who we presumably call so-called Negroes in the Western Hemisphere today. See what I'm saying? So it says, where poor women were given a strong formulation of the drug without being told they were taking part in a trial or about any of the risks they'd face. 3 women died during the secretive test phase, but their deaths were never investigated. This is how wicked these people are, man. But yet y'all continuously out there talking about Esau's the Arabs. But look at the things that these people do, man. The characteristics of these people are like the devil, man. This is not Esau. This is not the Arabs. Salaki, this is not the Arabs. This is so-called white man. You know what I'm saying? Esau, the real Esau, the Edomites, man. Their deaths were never investigated. And here it goes. Here's a picture of the dang devil that the Bible speaks of, man. And this is who she's trying to kill. Who is she trying to kill, man? She's trying to kill the so-called blacks, so-called Latinos, and so-called Native Indians, man, which are the 12 tribes of Israel. You know what I'm saying? And this is a reason as to why they're trying to kill our people. You know what I'm saying? Y'all got to understand that this is not happening for no reason. You know what I'm saying? This isn't just a project being put. No, they trying to kill our people, man. You know what I'm saying? Abortion clinics in each and every one of our hoods and neighborhoods out here is not a mistake. This is not a project, man. This is killing our people. This is not a trial, test, error, run. None of that. They knew exactly what the hell them pills is for, man. Moving on. This says an undated photo of Margaret Sanger, 1883 to 1966. Right? This is the person that's behind the death of our people, man. You know what I'm saying? And she ain't no Arab. Wicked as hell. You know what I'm saying? Got our people going to these abortion clinics. You know what I'm saying? And it's not just, one race. No, it's so-called blacks who we know as Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, right? All up inside them places, and the same people, Latinos, you know what I'm saying? Puerto Ricans, women, all in there. You know what I'm saying? We're the ones who abuse this. You know what I'm saying? They already got our minds, screwed up. You know what I'm saying? That predictive programming, they programmed us. Right? It says the pill's history starts with one of the most influential figures in the birth control movement, Margaret Sanger. Outspoken and fearless, Sanger was willing to defy the law on behalf of women's reproductive rights in 1916. She opened the nation's first birth control clinic and was arrested for distributing information on the contraception and put on trial for breaking a New York law. Right? So-called, you know what I'm saying? But they ain't do nothing to her, man. You already know what time it is. Right? It said the trial that followed is now considered a watershed moment for birth control in the United States. You know what I'm saying? A watershed. You know what I'm saying? So nothing really took place. Nothing really happened, man. It's like water under a bridge, man. This shit just keeps going, right? And it says, and inspired physicians and researchers to begin seeking better ways to help women plan and prevent pregnancies, man. Who does that? Who's trying to play the role of the Most High, man? You know, read the scriptures, Israel. This not the Arabs out here trying to play the role of the Most High. No, man. It's the so-called white man. You know what I'm saying? And everybody that comes with them. It says Sanger thought that women would never be free until they had the ability to control their own bodies. Look at this, man. It's just wicked, man. And this is, you know, how they start trying to put women on top. Oh, that you have, you have a right, you know, so on and so forth. And you have power. You know, this is, you know, who run the world, you know, girls, stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? You could be equal. You should have control of your own body. Man, that don't make no damn sense, man. Ain't no free will. There's no such thing as free will, man. You can't find a scripture in the Bible that tells you it's free will. You know what I'm saying? Man's goings is of the Lord. Simple as that. You know what I'm saying? Don't even try to argue it. Don't even try to defend it. It's over for that. You know what I'm saying? Humble down. Your footsteps is being guided by the Most High. Simple as that. If you wicked, hey, man, that's where the Most High guiding you at. You know what I'm saying? Few, you know, for many are called and few are chosen. See what I'm saying? Right? It says, but her views on birth control were also rooted in philosophies that would raise modern eyebrows. Historians contest a long-standing myth that Sanger thought non-white people should be prevented from procreating. Sanger thought non-white people should be prevented from procreating. No, Arabs. Come on, man. Come on, man. Should be prevented from procreating. You know what I'm saying? But they agreed that Sanger supported eugenics, a theory that undesirable populations could be reduced or eliminated by controlling their breeding. Again, who's trying to play God, man? See what I'm saying? Like, this is not the Arabs, man. The Arabs is not being wicked. I mean, even though they was, you know, they wicked as hell too, man. But at the end of the day, we have to understand what's really taking place right now. What's happening? See what I'm saying? They trying to eliminate our people, man. The world should be given into the hands of the wicked. Right? Don't it tell you that in the book of Job? Who's running the world? It ain't the Arabs, man. Y'all need to get up out of that mess, man. You know what I'm saying? In Singer's case, that undesirable group was mentally and physically defective. Using eugenic language of the era, Sanger argued that birth control could help wipe out the greatest present menace to civilization, people living in extreme poverty and those with mental illnesses and physical disabilities. Now, do the research. Who is she talking about? Who's living in poverty, man? Don't the scriptures tell you that? I know thy tribulations, right? Poverty, but thou art rich. Revelations 3:9, 2:9. Come on, man. The Most High talking to us where you think these people don't know what's going on. Hey, man, everything is of the Lord. The Most High uses everybody, man. Even the wicked on the day of evil. You know what I'm saying? It says that interest in eliminating extreme poverty drove Sanger to look for and invest in more modern forms of birth control. She had long wished for a discreet, nearly foolproof way to control pregnancy. When she met the controversial biologist Gregory Pincus, who specialized in mammal reproduction, she asked him if his work could be used to create a cheap birth control pill. He told her he'd try. So Sanger introduced him to Catherine Dexter McCormick, a philanthropist who underwrote what would become one of the 20th century's most ambitious and risky scientific experiments. Hey, man, these people are just wicked as hell, man. You know what I mean? And it's just the bottom line. You can't get over it. You can't get through it. You know, it's mind-boggling how y'all could think somebody else is Esau, man. You know, it says, at the time, the female reproductive system was still largely a mystery to scientists, and birth control was strongly regulated by state laws that made it effectively illegal to research or distribute. Massachusetts, where Pincus began his work in the 1950s was one such state. Pincus and John Rock, an obstetrician, began working in secret to figure out if it was possible to use progesterone, a hormone produced by the body during pregnancy, to prevent pregnancy in women. In the lab, it prevented pregnancy in both rabbits and rats. Would it work in women who weren't yet pregnant too? And these people try to play God, man. You know what I'm saying? It's wicked. It's terrible, man. The only way to know was to try. But Pincus could have been jailed in Massachusetts if the real nature of his research was discovered. He conducted a trial on a small number of women, hiding his research under the auspices of a fertility trial. But in order to get the drug approved, he needed a wilder clinical trial. In the eyes of Pincus and Sanger, Puerto Rico was the perfect place. Why was it Puerto Rico? Because we understand that that's where Ephraim is at, right? And what does Ephraim mean? To be fruitful. They had a lot of people. The woman of Ephraim had a fruitful womb, right? Most High willing, we're going to get into that through the scriptures, man. You know? And it says, was the perfect place. At the time, it was in the midst of a population boom. Population boom. Listen to that. And poverty was rampant. But thou art rich. Who's this talking about, man? I mean, just the curses upon Israel was crazy. It was also home to birth control clinics that had once been funded by the U.S. government under New Deal programs. Now, Procter & Gamble, Hair and American eugenicist Clarence Gamble funded and ran many himself. Right? It says Gamble believed that Puerto Ricans and others living in poverty should be wiped out to make room for more fit members of the population. Listen to what they saying, man. So if the Puerto Ricans was Edomites and they was Esau and they was part of the white people, why are they trying to wipe out these white people? Wouldn't they be trying to come together with these white people and have the same privileges, white privilege, you know, quote unquote? Like, wouldn't we have the same amount of privileges? Y'all just sound stupid as hell when y'all say stuff, man. Because y'all unlearn. That's the problem. Y'all unlearn, Israel. A lot of you niggas is ignorant as hell, man. Lack of knowledge. Ignorant. That's what it means. Lack of knowledge. Destroyed. You finish. Because you don't do the research, man. You don't know who you talking about. And a lot of you niggas gonna get put to death by the Most High, man. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, let's continue to go, man. They trying to destroy these people, right? So it says, fit members of the population, and birth control was a part of that vision. As historian Nancy Ordover notes, his birth control centers became recruitment grounds for Pincus's clinical trial. Gamble was also deeply involved in Puerto Rico's policy of encouraging women to undergo sterilization as a form of birth control. So not only were they out there feeding them pills, but they was also putting them under the knife, burning, tying, so etc. Whatever they do to the tubes to prevent pregnancy, man. Let's continue reading, man. Ultimately, approximately 1/3 of Puerto Rican women were sterilized. Why 1/3? See, all these numbers is crazy. This is biblical. 1/3, 2/3, you know, so on and so forth. There's nothing new under the sun. You can't debate it, man. It's over for you. Were sterilized. Many involuntarily under policies that pressured women to undergo hysterectomies after their second child's birth. So they was forcing these women, after they had 2 children, to go ahead and get their tubes tied, man. You know what I'm saying? It says this policy helped create candidates for Pincus's trial. Educated women didn't want to try the new medication, fearing side effects, but less educated women were desperate to avoid both pregnancy and sterilization. Pincus focused on that group of women during clinical trials that recruited in the poorest areas of San Juan and other cities beginning in 1955. Women who took the drug knew that it prevented pregnancy, but had no idea it was experimental or even that they were participating in a clinical trial. They weren't given safety information about the product either. Note, physicians Pamela Verma Liao and Janet Dolan and women experienced serious side effects like blood clots and nausea. Women who stepped forward to describe side effects were discounted as unreliable, they write. It's crazy, man. Despite the substantial positive effect of the pill, its history is marked by a lack of consent, a lack of full disclosure, a lack of true informed choice, and a lack of clinically relevant research regarding risk. You know, and it just goes to show you how truly wicked these people really are, man. You know what I'm saying? And hey, look, man, the Most High not doing that to a nation that's irrelevant to him. You know what I'm saying? You know, a father chastises his son. You know what I'm saying? Or his own daughter. Like that, it wouldn't make no sense for the Most High to be doing these things for no reason. There is a reason. Because they Israelites. You know what I'm saying? It says that risk was real. The pills contain much higher doses of hormones than modern day birth control pills and caused significant side effects. Pincus didn't feel that side effects like nausea or depression warranted a reformulation of the pill. Their only concern was proving its efficacy. Meanwhile, 3 women died during the clinical trials, but autopsies were not performed on their bodies. It remains unclear whether those fatalities were linked to the pill. You see what I'm saying? And they ain't even going to fess up to it. You know what I'm saying? They are found not guilty. You know what I mean? This is just, it's wicked, man. Reading on. By modern standards, the secretive trials were both unethical and unsafe. Women who agreed to take the drug did out of desperation, but without full disclosure of what might be at stake. But for Pincus, the trial was a success. The high dose of hormones all but ensured trial participants wouldn't get pregnant. And in the field trials, the pill was nearly 100% effective. Pincus didn't stop testing. A second trial was funded by Gamble, and the pills were also tested on women and men in mental asylums without consent. This is just disgusting what these people do, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't just make this stuff up, man. You know, there is no more profane person and wicked as Esau, man. Like, these people are disgusting. It says, when Enovid was finally approved in 1957, it was an instant hit. American women were willing to do almost anything, including go through the side effects like spotting and the risk of blood clots in exchange for discreet, inexpensive, and effective birth control. In 1960, Enovid was approved as a contraceptive, ushering a new age in women's sexual health. But many of the pill's side effects were still not entirely understood, and scientists are only now beginning to take depression in women who are taking birth control seriously. They're now just doing that. But, you know, just mind you that these people, you know, these so-called Puerto Rican women, you know, they were willing to do anything. You know what I'm saying? To go ahead and just take this birth control and you know, but this is the spirit, man. This is, you know, this is what the Most High he put it in a spirit. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to read that. We're going to read that very soon. As soon as I'm done with this article is where we're going to get some scriptures. It says, in a way, we do have women being treated like lab animals so that we may find a form of birth control that frees them, said Jonathan Egg, author of The Birth of the Pill in 2015. There's a great irony there. But the freedom afforded by the pill came at a price, one that few whose lives were changed by the pill who will ever acknowledge. You know, and, you know, like I said, man, like, you know, this just, it's just wicked. You know, how these people really play with our bodies and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, that's no here nor there. You know, you read the article with me, you know, and we just gonna go into some scripture, you know. So we're going to go to the book of Hosea, right? And this is for any of you who out there, man, when you read the book of Hosea, this is specifically talking about Ephraim, the northern kingdom. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to go to the book of Hosea, chapter 9 and verse 11. Let me move my screen up, right? This is the book of Hosea, chapter 9, Salakia, and verse 11. It says, as for Ephraim, their glory shall fly away like a bird from the birth and from the womb and from the conception. Now, pay attention to what we just read in that article. You know, it says, Ephraim, their glory shall fly away like a bird. Their glory being what? What is Ephraim? Let's check it out, man. Let's go to Genesis. Genesis 41:52. Let me see. 41:52. Right? What is their glory, man? What is Ephraim? It says, and the name of the second called, it's the book of Genesis, chapter 41, verse 52. It says, and the name of the second called he Ephraim, for God had caused me to be fruitful in the land of my affliction. So Ephraim means to be fruitful. You know, that's their glory. That the tribe of Ephraim, that's their glory, right? Let's go back to Hosea 9 and 11. Right? So it says, as for Ephraim, their glory shall flee away like a bird from the birth and from the womb and from the conception. It says, though they bring up their children, yet will I bereave them, that there shall not be a man left. Yeah, woe also to them when I depart from them. So he says, though they bring up their children, yet will I bereave them. So the Most High said, you know, I bereave meaning like to not love them, you know what I'm saying? To like cast them away, you know what I'm saying? To like turn his back on them. You see what I'm saying? So he said, well, I bereave them, that there shall not be a man left. Yeah, woe meaning destruction also to them when I depart from them. Right? Verse 13. Ephraim, as I saw Tyrus, is planted in a pleasant place. Now, here's a little piece of geographical location. You know what I'm saying? It says planted in a pleasant place. For anybody that knows about Puerto Rico, they call it La Isla del Encanto, which means a pleasant place. You know what I'm saying? Anybody who's ever been to Puerto Rico understands what a pleasant place it is, man. It's pleasant. When you go there, right, the air's not thick, it's thinned out. It's such a relaxed place. You don't really have to worry about the things that are going on here in Babylon, things of that nature. The air is just so thick out here. You know what I mean? So when you start to understand that what Puerto Rico really is, man, it's that place. It says, Ephraim, as I saw Tyrus, right, is planted in a pleasant place. But Ephraim shall bring forth his children to the murderer, right? We just read that these women were willing to do anything to take these pills of abortion. Take heed. They were bringing forth their children to the murderer. That's talking about abortion, Israel. This cannot be no more clear than that. You know what I'm saying? A light bulb should have just went off in your head. You see what I'm saying? And understand what the scriptures is being brought to life in that article. You know, this is a historical account that really truly happened. You know what I'm saying? This ain't happening to anybody else. This ain't talking about no Africans over there. You know what I'm saying? Across the world, you know? Not saying that a lot of them people is not our brothers, but what I'm telling you is that the majority here in the tribe of Ephraim is specifically talking about the so-called Puerto Ricans, man. Native, if you're of an indigenous descent, you know, if you're a Taino descendant, you know what I'm saying? Let's continue reading on the scriptures, right? Verse 14, give them, O Lord, what wilt thou give? What wilt thou give? Give them a miscarrying womb and a dry breast. A miscarrying womb. That's what the Most High gave them. He sent Margaret Singer down there, man. You know what I'm saying? Because he uses them as the punishment, as the rod of his iniquity. Man, listen, Everything has a purpose. The Most High built everything for a reason, man. You know what I'm saying? So he gave them these people to go down there, and the Most High said, hey, man, give them a miscarrying womb and dry breasts. You know what I'm saying? Having no knowledge, right? You can't feed. Verse 15, all their wickedness is in Gilgal, for there I hated them. For the wickedness of their doings, I will drive them out of mine house. I will love them no more. All their princes are revolters. Ephraim is smitten, their root is dried up. They shall bear no fruit. Yea, though they bring forth, yet will I slay even the beloved fruit of their womb. The beloved fruit of their womb. The Most High said they're going to slay the fruit of their womb, man. Right? Verse 17, my God will cast them away because they did not hearken unto him, and they shall be wanderers among the nations. Right? Ephraim is likened unto a silly dove, man. You know, you can prophesy to them and they will not go. They will not understand, man. You know what I'm saying? Going back to verse 13, watch this. It says, Ephraim, as I saw Tyrus, is planted in a pleasant place, but Ephraim shall bring forth his children to the murder. Right? Where we can get that account of Tyrus. Ezekiel 26. We'll start at 1. Right? Verse 1 is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 26. And it came the first day of the month that the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, because that Tyrus, there it is, you know what I'm saying, line upon line, precept upon precept, here a little, there a little, have said against Jerusalem, aha, she is broken. That was the gates of the people. She is turned unto me. I shall be replenished. Now she is laid waste. Therefore, thus saith the Lord God, Yahweh, behold, I am against thee, O Tyrus, and will cause many nations to come up against thee, as the sea causeth his waves to come up. So the Most High said it was going to be, that Ephraim was going to be like unto Tyrus. You see what I'm saying? So we're going to continue reading on, and nothing new under the sun. His word is what he's meant. You get what I'm saying? So let's see what happened. It says, and they shall destroy the walls of Tyrus and break down her towers. I will also scrape her dust from her and make her like the top of a rock. Right? Destroy the walls. So that's what they did as soon as they came in. Christopher Columbus in 1492. You know what I'm saying? It said it shall be a place for the spreading of nets in the midst of the sea. That's exactly what Puerto Rico was. You know what I'm saying? It was like to spread a net, man. It says, for I have spoken it, saith the Lord Yahweh, and it shall become a spoil to the nations, man. And her daughters which are in the field shall be slain by the sword, and they shall know that I am the Lord. So when they came over here, that's what they was doing. You know, they was killing all the Taínos with swords. You know what I'm saying? And pack butt rifles. You know what I'm saying? Verse 7. For thus saith the Lord God, behold, I will bring upon Tyrus Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, a king of kings, from the north, with horses and with chariots, and with horsemen and companies and much people. He shall slay with the sword thy daughters in the field, and he shall make a fort against thee, and cast a mount against thee, and lift up the buckler against thee. So here you go, that fort is talking about San Juan. You know what I'm saying? They call it El Morro. Look that up. You know what I'm saying? That's the fort. That's the fort that was brought up against all the Taínos, man. You know what I'm saying? And also, when Columbus came and he wrecked that ship, right? It was called La Navidad, right? And meaning the Christmas. You know what I'm saying? And with those same pieces, he made the first church. You know what I'm saying? Just wicked. You know what I'm saying? It says, verse 9, he shall set engines of war against thy walls, and with his axes he shall break down thy towers. By reason of the abundances of his horses, their dust shall cover thee. Thy walls shall shake at the noise of the horsemen and of the wheels and of the chariots, when he shall enter into the gates, as men enter into a city wherein is made a breach. Right? Ain't that one of the curses of Deuteronomy? Right? He shall come in, you shall go in one way and come out seven. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is literally talking about exactly everything that happened in Puerto Rico. You know what I'm saying? The caciques, you know what I'm saying? DR as well, you know what I'm saying? And what we know today is Haiti. You know, it says, with the hooves of his horses shall he tread down all thy streets. And that's what they came on. They came on horses too. You know what I'm saying? That's what they was doing. He shall slay thy people by the sword, and the strong garrisons shall go down to the ground. You see what I'm saying? And they came with swords, killing our people with swords. You know what I'm saying? This is historical account. This is what the Most High said was going to happen. That we was going to be like Tyrus. You know what I'm saying? It says, and they shall make a spoil of thy riches, which was the gold. You know what I'm saying? That's why they called it Port of Riches. Puerto Rico just means Port of Riches. You understand? It says, they shall make a spoil of thy riches, and make a prey of thy merchandise. And they shall break down thy walls, and destroy thy pleasant houses. And they shall lay thy stones and thy timber and thy dust in the midst of the water. Right? And man, they just broke everything down, man. That's self-explanatory. If you know anything about the history, you know what Christopher Columbus and all these wicked people did. You know what I'm saying? The Friar Bartolomé de las Casas. You know what I'm saying? And this is even going into exactly who we know as the Aztecs today, the Incas, the Mayans, right? And this is talking about Hernan Cortez, Francisco Pizarro. You know what I'm saying? Etc., etc. They will be known as the conquistadors. Look them up. The history. You know what I mean? It ties in way too perfect. And verse 13, and I will cause the noise of the song of thy songs to cease, and the sound of thy harps shall be no more heard. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, the Most High said, I'm gonna shut you down. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna shut the hell up. It's over for you. Y'all niggas didn't believe in me. It's over for you. You know what I'm saying? I can't do nothing more. I can't do nothing more for you. It says, and I will make thee like the top of a rock. They shall be a place to spread nets upon, that thou shalt be built no more. For I, the Lord, have spoken it, saith the Lord Yahweh. Right? And Puerto Rico has not been built ever since. Built no more. It has not been built. There's been nothing built in New York, in Puerto Rico. You know what I'm saying? Verse 15. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh to Tyrus, shall not the isles shake at the sound of thy fall? When the wounded cry, when the slaughter is made in the midst of thee, then all the princes of the sea shall come down from their thrones. Princesses of the sea, that's what princes of the sea, man. That's Christopher Columbus and all these Hernan Cortez. That they came from the sea, man. That's what they looked at them. They looked at them as gods. You know what I'm saying? The so-called Indians, right? Natives, indigenous people, so-called indigenous people, right? Because we're indigenous to Israel. That's who we are, you know. And it says, and lay away their robes and put off their broidered garments. They shall clothe themselves with trembling. They shall sit upon the ground and shall tremble at every moment and be astonished at thee. And they shall take up a lamentation for thee and say to thee, how art thou destroyed, that was inhabited of seafaring men, the renowned city, which was strong in the sea, she and her inhabitants, which caused their terror to be on all that haunted. Salakia. Verse 18. Now shall the isles tremble in the day of thy fall. Yea, the isles that are in the sea shall be troubled at thy departure. Verse 19. For thus saith the Lord Yahweh, when I shall make thee a desolate city, like the cities that are not inhabited, when I shall bring up the deep upon thee, and great waters shall cover thee. You know? And that's exactly what happened in Puerto Rico and a lot of these other places, man. The sea covered. That was just Hurricane Maria that just came through. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these other ones that came through, you know what I'm saying, and destroyed Puerto Rico, and it still hasn't been built back up. You know what I'm saying? And it's not going to, because it's not of the Most High. Brothers is not doing it of the Most High. They don't have the recognition. They don't have the knowledge that they need. They're destroyed for a lack of knowledge. And I'll tell you what, they have a zeal for the Most High, but not according to knowledge. You know what I mean? And that's why it's eminent that we go out there and preach the gospel to our brothers and sisters that are out there. You know, it says, verse 19, for thus saith the Lord Yahweh, when I shall make thee, no, I read that. Verse 20, when I shall bring thee down with them that descend into the pit, with the people of old time, and shall set thee in the low parts of the earth, in places desolate of old, El Viejo San Juan, the old San Juan, with them that go down to the pit, that thou be not inhabited, and I shall set glory in the land of the living. Right? I'm going to tell you like this, man. The majority of Puerto Rico is not inhabited, man. You know what I'm saying? The majority of Puerto Rico is forest and woods. You know what I'm saying? And that's just clear. Verse 21, I will make thee a terror, and thou shalt be no more. They say that the so-called Tainos are extinct. Most High really said that, man. He really meant it. You know, it says, though thou be sought for, he looking for him, and we look for each other, yet shalt thou never be found again, saith the Lord Yahweh. So, you know, Israel, when you read these scriptures and you start to get into the historical accounts, man, you have to take heed. You know, you have to come into the understanding, you know, that history and the Bible are cohesive. You understand? They run hand in hand. They run parallel. You know, so before you start running your mouth and you start talking about, yo, those people ain't this and them people ain't that, and that's not your job, man. Because you want to try to bring a whole different group of people that are way across the other end of the earth. I mean, understood. You know what I'm saying? They look like you, whatever the case may be, but this is not what this is about, man. This has never been about looks. You know, the colorism really needs to stop. It really needs to stop. You know, we've been oppressed together. We've been going through the same thing, man. And Most High willing, man, you know, I want to start getting, you know, more subscribers, you know, try to reach that 1,000 subscriber mark so that I can start going live, you know, and start pulling out my podcast. I'm working on that now. You know, once I get the podcast going, I'm really going to start bringing some things out, and it should really start shedding some light. And a lot of things are going to start getting exposed. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, what we need to understand is that you need to continue to do your research. You know, I mean, and there's so many things that you would have to explain. You know, biblically, why are these people suffering the same way as you? Why are these people that are across the face of the earth not fitting the same scriptures that you keep talking about? Why is it that these scriptures right here truly fit these people that are on the Western Hemisphere? You know what I'm saying? On the North Americas. You know, what we know to be Arsarith. This is Arsarith over here, man. You know, this is spiritual Babylon. Spiritual Sodom and Egypt, man. There is no place in the world that is like the Americas. Stop trying to compare anything else. There is nothing else in the world that is like this place here, man. There's nowhere, it's not happening, man. I don't care what you try to bring up. There's no place more wicked than the Americas, man. You know what I'm saying? And hey, look, man, you want to debate that? Go ahead, man. Just bang yourself. Because that's just, it's just foretold, man. It's just obvious. You know what I'm saying? There's really nothing to debate about it. You know what I'm saying? The sodomy, you know, women turning into men, men turning into women, you know, they're putting it in your schools, you know, so on and so forth. But you decide that you want to call somebody else Esau when he's right in your face, man. He's the one killing you on a daily basis. What's going on, man? How can you not see that? You know, sometimes I understand that I got to chalk it up, you know, to the reprobate minds that's out there. His brothers is bugged out, you know, reading all types of manner of books. And you start to get bugged out, man. You know what I'm saying? But hey, man, you got to stay diligent in this walk. You got to really start studying anything else before you start trying to downplay it. The historical accounts. Look at it. When you read it, you're going to tie it to the scriptures. You have no choice. There's no ands if or what's about it. You know what I'm saying? The archaeology is there. The ethnographics is there. You know? The biblical prophecy is there. I mean, it just, you can't have no more proof. You can't, if we went to court, I'd smash one of you dudes, man. You know what I'm saying? With all the evidence that we have. Leave you questioning yourself. Like, dang. But it's not for that, man. It's just for the enlightenment of our people. For us to start to understand who we truly are. Biblically. And stop trying to downplay. All you doing is really living out a prophecy. You know what I'm saying? Judah shall vex Ephraim. Ephraim shall envy Judah. You know, you Negro onlys, Latino onlys, you're going to be destroyed, man. The Most High going to put y'all to death if y'all don't repent. Come back to the Most High, man. Number one rule is love your brother, man. Hey, man. Maybe it's just not for you. I don't know what to tell you. All I want to tell you right now is this. Study. Do the research. Don't just listen to somebody else. Because I guarantee you, half of you folk out there have not done the research and don't know a damn thing about so-called Puerto Ricans, so-called Incas, so-called Mayans, Tainos. None of that. You don't know nothing about them. And you're quick to pawn them off. I'll tell you what, man. Hey, Israel, man. Listen. Share this video. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell button. You know, I already know, to get notified whenever I come up with a video. Hey, man, comment on the board down there. You know, reach out to me. We could talk. Whatever you want to do, man. You know, check me out on Instagram. I'm really on Instagram a lot. Not too much, but I'll be on there. You know, at King_Ecclesiastes, just as it's spelled in the scriptures. You know, meaning Kahaloth in the Hebrew, meaning a teacher. You know, and that's what I do. You know, so with that being said, hey, man, stay up. Keep the law, statutes, commandments, and live. Hey, man, let me just give you one more scripture just because you already know what time it is, man. It's one of my favorite scriptures. It's the favorite scripture. You already know. Ecclesiastes chapter 12 and verse 13. And it reads, let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear Yahweh and keep the commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. Verse 14, for Yahweh shall bring every work into judgment with every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil. So there's a day of judgment coming. When you have a day of judgment coming, that's because there's laws to be had. You know what I'm saying? So listen, man, stay enduring, Israel. I love y'all, man. And until the next one, you know, call her law Yahweh, Ba'Shem HaMashiach Yahweh Shai. Shalom, Israel. Shalom.